Hello everyone. Well, the title says it all, really. Garry Kasparov is coming out of retirement and will be playing in the St. Louis Rapid and Blitz tournament for a total prize of $150,000. And let's see some of the players who will be playing. We have Nakamura, Caruana, Aronyan, Karyakin, Anand Nepomniachtchi, and four wild cards. David Navarro, Laquan Liam, Linier Dominguez, and Garry Kasparov. And although Garry Kasparov is a wild card in this tournament, I don't think he will be an outsider. I really think all the players will have an extremely hard game against him. And to prove this theory, Garry Kasparov played a 6-game match against Hikaru Nakamura last year in the St. Louis Ultimate Blitz Challenge, and he won 3.5 to 2.5. And there is one game I would like to show you from this event. Garry Kasparov is white and Hikaru Nakamura is black. So the game went e4, e5, knight to f3, knight to c6, and Kasparov goes for the Scotch opening, d4. E takes d4, knight takes d4, and bishop to c5, bishop to e3, queen to f6, and now c3. All standard theory pretty much. Knight g to e7, bishop to c4, and here Hikaru plays knight to e5. And in this position, this light square bishop usually goes to e2. It's pretty useful here, as it pretty much paralyzes this knight on e5, and also it controls this diagonal and really looks out for these light squares. But in here, Garry decided to play bishop to b3. And this is a very interesting game, I think, especially because it's a Scotch opening. And in the World Championship match between Kasparov and Karpov in 1990, that was played in Lyon, Garry Kasparov intensively prepared one specific opening, and that opening is the Scotch. So I don't know if Hikaru knew this. He probably did, but as you can see, Garry can still play with the best. So queen to g6, eyeing that g2 pawn, white castles, and now d5. I think another game they played in the Scotch that Kasparov also won, Hikaru tried d6, but here he goes for the very aggressive d5. And it's a very aggressive move, as it prepares this bishop h3 move. So Kasparov plays bishop to f4, which is very nice, as it stops the bishop h3. He will simply retrieve the bishop to g3 and block all threats. So bishop to f4, and now bishop to g4, attacking the queen. Queen to c2, bishop captures on d4, c takes on d4, knight to c6, and here with knight to c6 he's attacking the d4 pawn, and Garry defends it, queen to d2. And here he was expecting something like castle, or maybe, I don't know, improving, some sort of an improvement, but Nakamura plays a very shocking move and plays queen takes on e4. And Kasparov was really stunned here, and he didn't really know what was going on. Because this allows this next move, f3, winning the bishop. And I don't know, maybe this was some sort of Hikaru's preparation for a blitz game, or maybe he just didn't want to lose any more time, so he played this. Well, either way. Bishop to f3, g takes f3, and queen takes on d4. Kasparov happily trades queens, queen takes on d4, knight takes on d4. And here Hikaru has 3 pawns for the piece, but Kasparov quickly grabs the c7 pawn. So we have king to d7, bishop goes to g3, and now the position is only 2 pawns for the piece. And Nakamura captures this bishop, so knight captures on g3, a takes on b3, and so now we have 2 pawns for the piece and doubled pawns on the b file. So it's a blitz game, 5 minutes per player, and I think Hikaru was feeling pretty comfortable in this position. and maybe he thought that Kasparov is out of his game, so maybe he can do something about this. Knight to f5, attacking the bishop. Knight to c3, d4, and here Kasparov really piles up on this isolated d pawn. Plays rook f to d1, pinning the king. Rook h to d8, rook to d3, preparing to double up. King to c6, knight to e2, going for that d pawn again. Rook to d5, rook to d1, rook to d8, overprotecting it, well for now, but bishop to f2, so attacking the pawn one more time, and now king c5. And the pawn seems to be protected, but not for long. Rook to c1 check, king to b5, rook to c4, b6, knight to g3, knight to h3, h4, king to f1, king to a6, rook to c7, rook to f8, b4, we have g6, knight to e2, knight to f5, and here Garry captures, finally. Knight takes on d4. Knight takes on d4, rook takes on d4, and now rook to f5. Hikaru avoids trading the rook. And I was watching this game when it was live, and both players were in serious time trouble. And I remember Yasser saying how it's remarkable how well Hikaru is defending this position while being a piece down. So rook to d3, rook to f4, rook to b3, protecting the pawn, king to b5, rook takes on a7, rook to e8, rook to b7, rook to e6, rook to e3, trying to exchange rooks, the other rook to f6, piling up on the f3 pawn, king to g2, rook to b4, b3, king goes to c6, attacking the rook, rook to a7, h5, c3 check, king back to b5, rook to e7, rook to f5, h4, g5, h takes on g5, rook takes on g5 check, king to h3, rook f5, rook back to b7, king a6, rook e7, rook to f4, rook to e3 defending, king to b5, bishop to g3, we have rook to d4, rook to e5, and now finally Kasparov manages to exchange one of the rooks. So rook takes, rook to c4, rook goes here, and here Kasparov gives up this pawn, but now his f pawn will be going forward. King to c4, and here he goes for it. f4, b5, f5, king to d5, and here rook cuts off this king's approach to this pawn, so rook to d7 check, king has to go back, king to e4, f6, rook to f3, trying to stop the pawn, and here it was a serious time trouble, although this is a winning position. Kasparov plays pawn to f7, and Nakamura makes it really easy for him, plays b4, and after king to g2 he pushes even further b3, and Kasparov plays rook to e7, and well, that's all over. The king has to move, for example king to d3, Garry will capture the rook, and after a move like b2 simply stopping the pawn. So that's it. Like I said, he played 6 games against Hikaru, and he won with a result of 3.5 to 2.5, and it's a very nice game. Although, okay, it is blitz, but Garry showed that you can't sacrifice a piece like that and play against Garry Kasparov, the beast. So yeah, this event will be played in August, I think, from 2nd to 19th of August, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And well, you know, Gary's always playing for the win, always like Magnus going for that first place, and I think it will be a great event. So yeah, this was the game, and thank you all for watching, thank you for your time, and I'm interested to hear your opinion. What do you think how Garry will do in this tournament in Blitz and the Rapid section? So yeah, see you soon.